Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to show you how to configure voice over IP or the telephony service with both data and voice VLAN. Okay, so we're going to need a router, and the router that we're going to choose is 2811 router. I drag it there, okay, and 2960 switch, okay. And let's say just a minute, we go to end devices and we choose two IP phones, okay, and two PCs, okay. Remember, we're going to configure both data and VLAN, voice VLAN. So we need the IP phone and a PC, okay. So we're just going to take a connection, choose automatic, then you do it very fast to save time. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to power on the IP phones. You click on the IP phones and you drag power adapter and place inside there. You close that one and this one also. Okay. Alright, so our configuration will begin on the switch. Remember, we want to have a topology where we have both voice and data VLAN, okay. We are going to have both data and voice traffic on this network, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to click on the switch and come to CLI and enable config T. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create two VLANs. VLAN, let's say VLAN 10 represent data, okay, name data. Then VLAN, let's say VLAN 20 or VLAN 50 to represent voice, okay, voice. Alright, sorry, so VLAN 50 name voice, exit. Alright, so for example, so on this switch here, each access port will be accessing two VLANs, data and voice VLAN, and this one will be trunk, okay, this one. So I'm just going to configure this FA0/1. Before that, I'm just going to configure these ports to have VLAN numbers, okay. For example, this one FA0/2 and FA0/3. So interface range FA0/2 to 3, then switch port mode access, then switch port access VLAN 10 for data, okay, right. Then now let's configure it to access voice VLAN. Switch port voice VLAN 50. Remember, our voice VLAN is VLAN 50, okay. So you start saying switch port access VLAN 10 for data, then switch port voice VLAN 50 for voice, okay. Alright, exit. Then let's configure trunk on this interface, which is FA0/1. Interface FA0/1. Then switch port mode trunk, and now I want to specify the number of VLANs that should be allowed through the trunk port, okay. For example, we've created VLAN 10 and VLAN 50, so I'll just say switch port trunk allowed VLAN to be VLAN 10. Let's first allow the default VLAN 1, then VLAN 10 and VLAN 50. Remember, we've created how many VLANs? 2, 10 and 50, but the first VLAN 1 is the default one, okay. Alright, so exit and do that. So if I can say do show start, you will see on the first interface FA0/1 allowed VLANs are 1, 10 and 50 and a trunk port. And now when you go to FA0/2 and FA0/3, you will see that it's access VLAN 10 and voice VLAN 50, okay, and it's access port, right? Okay, so we are done with everything on the switch. So let's move to the router. Click on the router, and the first thing I'll do, I'll just try to turn on this interface, which is FA0/0, FA00. Turn it on. Okay, so after turning on this interface, I'll just click on the router. I'll come to CLI, exit. Now guys, we want to create pools, a VLAN, a voice pool and a data pool. Okay, for example, let's say data will access this network 1.0/24. So we go ahead to we proceed to configure pools. First thing we do is to enable the service DHCP. Then we create pool, IP DHCP pool data. Okay, data to access which network, 1.0. Then you say network 192.168.1.0. Solid mask 255.255.255.0. Then default router will be, let's say, 192.168.1.1. okay, exit. Let's create another pool for voice. So IP DHCP pool voice. Then the network will be 2.0 now. Okay, and default router will be 2.1. Hit enter. And now for the case of voice pool, we include an option 150, which is a port number for TFTP, yeah, okay. Then IP to be the default route. Okay, sorry, I just copy this one, hit enter and exit. Remember, on data and on data pool, we never included this option 150 is used for telephone service, right, for assigning directory numbers. All right, okay. So the next thing, guys, we have two VLANs on this network, so we must create sub interfaces on this router, inter-VLAN routing. Okay, so this interface is FA0/0. I click interface FA0/0, then .10 for data, encapsulation .1Q the VLAN number 10. Okay, then IP address should be the default router here. Okay, for data VLAN. Okay, IP address should be 192.168.1.1. So that was 255.255.255.0. Then exit. Then we go to another sub interface, which is .50 now for VLAN 50. Okay, then encapsulation .1Q50. Okay, and IP address of 2.1. Exit and do right. Okay, so guys, basically we've configured DHCP pools on this router to assign automatically IP address to PCs and the IP phone. So what I'll do, I'll just go to this I'll just do that, and here also I'll do that. Okay, alright, so there we're done. Now what's remaining is just to configure telephony service. So we're going to configure telephony service on this router. Okay, so that's the last step, telephony service. Okay, then maximum directory numbers to be 2. We only have 2 IP phones here. You specify the number of phones you have on your topology. In this topology you have only 2. Okay, then maximum ePhones is also 2. Okay, then IP source to be IP address of the sub interface for the data VLAN, I mean for the voice VLAN, which was 2.12, I mean 2.1. okay, IP address to be that one. Then let me query port. You use port number 2000, hit enter, and then okay, so just say auto assign 1 to 2 because we only have 2 IP phone. If we had 50, we could have said 1 to 50. Okay, the first thing that you have to do is to enable that service, telephony service. Then you specify the number of directory numbers, which is 2. The maximum number of ePhones that you want to configure, we have only 2. Then you configure the IP source, which is the IP address of the sub interface 2.1 with the port number of 2000, I mean. Then out assign 1 to 2 and you hit enter. Then you exit. Now let's create the ePhone directory number 1. Okay, number, assign number, let's say 201. That okay, exit. Then ePhone directory number 2, assign number, that one. Okay, exit and do right. Okay, as you can see guys, we have received a success here. ePhone 6 registered, this one, IP address of this one. So we'll go to those ePhones and check if they have been registered successfully. So for example, this PC here, as you can see, it has a obtain IP address automatically. Then if you come to the ePhone, you can see it has obtained IP address automatically with the line number. Also on this ePhone, it has obtained IP address automatically with that line number. And the PC here, you can see the IP address of the PC and of the IP phone are different. Okay, IP phone has taken 2 dot something, but the PCs have taken 1 dot something, right? So I'm just going to test the communication between the phones. For example, this has taken line number of 202, I mean, and this one is 2001. So I'm just going to call 2002 and I call, and as you can see it's ringing. Okay, and if I can go to this phone here and I go to GUI, you see it's ringing from 2001. Okay, and I can accept and see it's connected, right? I can hang up, right? So guys, that's the only way to that's the simplest way to configure voice over IP using both data and voice VLAN. So I believe you've learned how to configure the two. So thank you so much, and please subscribe. Bye. See you again in the next project.